So guys, if you've been around the channel, or if you haven't, over the last few videos I've done some extensive exhaust comparisons in terms of tab performance versus Rinehart DBX45s, and again that was tab performance BAM sticks 4.5 with the zombie baffles. And then I followed that up with putting on the 212 tab performance head pipe. Guys, my name is Rick and this is the HDVIBE channel. In today's video we're going to follow on to those videos, and we're actually going to show how to change out the baffle on the tab BAM sticks to the medium baffles. And then stay tuned, because I'm going to give you then comparisons between the zombie baffles, the medium baffles, and also the Rinehart DBX45. So this is going to be an extensive exhaust comparison, and we'll get into all that right after this. So that's right guys, extensive exhaust comparison. But before we do that, I'm going to show you just how easy it is to change out the baffles on these BAM sticks. Again, I'm going to go from the zombie baffle to the medium baffle so that you guys can hear the difference. And we're also going to show you how you can change out those end caps on your tab performance slip-on exhaust. Let's get started with changing that baffle out. Okay, so to change these baffles out, it's really pretty easy. Obviously, you got to remove the slip-on from the head pipe and get it off of the bike. So obviously you got your 2 1/2-inch bolts in the back. You got your 15mm or about a 9/16 pipe clamp on front. Pull that off, repeat that on the other side. Obviously your pipe clamp on the other side is a little bit smaller, but then you have the pipe. And essentially what you have on these BAM sticks is a bolt here and then 2 bolts here. These 2 bolts are actually holding the end cap on, so we're going to change that out. So we have the black straight cut with this sort of emerald cut. And then there's 1 bolt here that we're going to take out. And again, these are 5/32 bolts. This is actually the bolt that's holding the actual baffle into the slip-on. So let me go ahead. I'm first going to loosen these, pull this off, and then we'll go to this one, loosen that, and then I'll show you how you get that baffle out of there. Pretty simply, we've got our 5/32 Allen. We're just going to loosen these 2 bolts that are holding this end cap on. I've got those 2 bolts out, so now I'm going to flip over and I'm going to take this last bolt out. Again, a 5/32. We'll just loosen that up. So now we should be able to pull this end cap off of this slip-on, which then will allow us to get to the actual baffle to begin pulling that out. So let me get this started. And it's beginning to loosen up here. And I'll just kind of wiggle it out. And there is the end cap. So I'm actually going to replace these with the all chrome end caps, which I think I'm going to actually, I don't know, these black are pretty cool. It's got the tab performance up front, but I'm going to try the actual chrome ones. And let me show you the difference between this black straight cut and the chrome straight cut. So here's the chrome one and the black one. So again, they're both cut pretty similarly. It's got that emerald cut. This is almost like a piece of jewelry and really catches the light. So I'm going to run with these for a while. So it's pretty simple, obviously, to switch these out. Just a bolt or 2, take the old one out and slip these in. So now let's move on to actually getting the baffle out of the slip-on. Got all these bolts taken out, and you can see there is the baffle in this slip-on. So to get this started, I'm actually going to just kind of tap this on the floor. I'm going to slightly tap it straight down on the floor, and that will loosen that baffle up, so then it will just slide right out. So let's try that now. And there you can see that baffle has already slid right up here to the front. And maybe a couple more taps. A couple of taps, and I actually took these pliers and just kind of spread them out and then pulled straight up. I was able to then get this baffle out. So this is the zombie baffle. As you can see, no louvers, no baffling material around it. Pretty much just, if you look through here, just a straight pipe. So by contrast, this is the medium baffle. So I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but So it's actually louvered inside. Obviously it's got this baffling material around it. So that's going to actually quiet that down quite a bit. If you remember from the video, and we'll go to it here in just a minute, some sound comparisons, but this one is really, really loud. I really like the sound of it, but I'm curious to see how this medium baffle sounds on this Stage 2 Milwaukee 8. All right, so now we're ready to actually put this medium baffle into the slip-on. So as you can see here, we have the hole where the bolt will actually go through the slip-on and into this baffle. So one of the things you have to make sure is you get that lined up obviously onto the slip-on body itself. So one trick to make sure that you can get that hole lined up in the slip-on from this baffle, the top of this baffle, is get this very technical tool, a Sharpie, and mark a line where that hole is onto the top of this baffle so that you can know about where that hole is as you begin to get that lined up and sliding that into the body of the slip-on. All right, so we are ready to begin to put this baffle in here. So I've got my hole for the bolt that's going to go through here. It's actually going to go into this hole here. And I've got my lines, so I'm going to try to get this as lined up as possible. And once this actually gets lined up and begins to slip in, I'm a little twisted. So you just want to make sure you get that lined up. And as simple as that, that baffle just, once it's in there, it just lines right up. And I think I've got it pretty well aligned with the hole. The point for the baffle is lined up with the hole here in the slip-on. So now it's actually ready for the 5/32 bolt with the washer to go in there. So I'm just going to go ahead and screw that in. And if you want to put a little bit of Loctite on there, feel free. I don't know that it's actually necessary. I don't think it had Loctite on it to begin with, but that's pretty tight. Okay, so the only thing to remember on when you're putting these end caps on, if you got the straight cut, your tab performance, you want it facing up, or if you want it facing down, they do have the holes here. I like it facing up, so obviously you're going to align it with the connecting points for the bolts on the hanger on the back of the bike. So again, just kind of get it lined up and then tap it down into place. And now we'll go ahead and put this last bolt in and tighten it down. Okay, so there it is. Now we have the chrome end cap on there, the medium baffle in here. I'm going to go ahead and slip this back on the bike. Then I'm going to change out the baffle on the other side, and then we're going to take this bike outside. We're going to get some sound clips. And again, I'm going to compare the Zombie baffle on this 4.5 BAM stick to this medium baffle. And then we're also going to compare that to the Rinehart DBX45 so that you can compare Zombie baffle, medium baffle, and a Rinehart DBX45 baffle. Guys, we've heard all sound clips of the Zombie Baffle, the Medium Baffle, and the Rinehart DBX45 Baffle compared to both of those in a variety of conditions. So leave some comments down below, guys. Let me know what you think you like the best between all three of these. Again, the Zombie Baffle, the Medium Baffle, and the Rinehart DBX45. My personal view is the Medium Baffle is pretty quiet, although I know those will burn in over time, so I need to put some miles on it. But it is certainly, from a highway perspective, it's going to be much less droning. When I'm out riding with the Zombie Baffle, it is pretty loud. It's not terrible if you're just cruising, but we do get on it. It is kind of loud. So if you're looking for the loudest baffle, I would suggest go with the Zombie Baffle from Tab Performance. If you want something just a little bit quieter and you're looking for that Tab Performance exhaust system, go with that Medium Baffle. So guys, if you got value out of this video, please give this a thumbs up to show me that you like it. Also, consider sharing this with your friends. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button right down here. It doesn't cost anything and it really helps out the channel. And when you do subscribe, leave a comment down below saying I subscribe so I can personally reach out and thank you for supporting the channel. Also, don't forget to hit the bell icon and select all so you do get notified every time I do put out new content. Guys, I have over 200 videos on tips, tricks, rides reviews, and installs on these Harley Davidson touring motorcycles. So I would bet you're probably going to find another video on the HDVIBE channel that you're going to like, that's going to help you do something to your bike, and even save you some money. So guys, with that, I want to leave you with this thought. Life is short. Get out and ride the bike. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye now.